हरि ओम. ओम Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Reading of a magazine, Chinmaya Udghosh. See you, inspiring youth to look ahead. October 2025. When Sri Krishna killed the evil Narkasur and his general Mura, he freed over 16,000 prisoners bound by the demons. Though symbolic in nature, this story signifies how we need to release our thoughts from the bounds of desire and surrender to the Lord. May this Deepavali Aka Narak Chaturdashi bring infinite bliss by celebrating the truly divine. Jai Shri Krishna. Editor's note. Dear reader, are you the kind who first stretches out their phone before the fork when food is placed on the table? Have you seen a concert where it is not the artist but a flood of cell phones that adds glitz to the event? Have you wondered how people can capture their wake to sleep logs without losing a beat? Then this cover story is for you. We are currently in the midst of an epidemic where personal space has become a performance ground. There is a deep and urgent need to assess whether we really need so much documentation of the mundane. On the other hand, we are also witnessing regime changes coordinated on Discord and people going on conscious digital detox. We live in interesting, if not perplexing, times. It is now that we must anchor ourselves in steady spiritual practices more than ever. We hope this issue presents you with enough opportunities to read, reflect, rejuvenate, and rejoice. This October, let us light the path of our inner journey to love. Editors. What's in mind cannot be tamed, no matter, never mind. You have got a point. Label पढ़ रहा है इंडिया. Read daily, live fully. Why insist on brahmacharya, self-control? Real Vedanta, the Bengal files. If Kashmir files hurt you, then Bengal will haunt you. Ram, the man of Treta Yuga, the first meeting of Ram and Hanuman. What's in Om for life, education for a nation. The Indian craft hunt, Z for Zari, a journey through threads of gold. India first, Jain Z posters, protests, organic or orchestrated. Mindful whispers, personal has become performative. Check news, Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra, The Great Plains, Readers write insecurities, face them with humor and wisdom. Ramayan Reboot, Leadership 3, Let Us Go, Bay, A Journey to Salt, Sweet and Stillness, Light Hearted, Up, TITI, Destiny, Laugh Out Loud, Figure It Out, Latin Sums, Names of Lord Indra, Root to Our Roots, Prayers, Wise Nuggets, Prayers, Swapristhastam, Bhujasau Kumaryam, Hastam, Bhujasau Kumaryam, Sukhanubhute Atibhumrutte, Mahendra Vajrahate Mapi, Ajanan Hatimat Hatimapyajanan, Govardhano me Vishatamabhishtam. 2.7 Shri Govardhanashtakam. As it was held above the earth, it became so filled with happiness by experiencing the softness of its beloved Krishna's lotus hand that it did not even know it was being struck by Indra's thunderbolt. May that Govardhan hill fulfill my desires. Govardhan Puja was on 22nd October 2025. Mind cannot be trained. An article by Paramapuja Swami Swarupananda Ji. No matter, never mind. Complete victory over the untamed mind. That is being able to call its bluff and to take pleasure in utilizing it as a medium or interface for engaging the world is possible only with the subjugation of the ego. In other words, the realization of the self alone is. Identification with the ego is destroyed by always asking, what is that I have achieved on my own? How much of this is due to the contribution of others? Parents, teachers, family members, friends, well wishers, even people in other parts of the world, or people who existed before me. What really makes me an individual? What boundaries define me, the I, and how have these arisen? All this questioning must be done on a daily basis, vigilantly if you wish to get to the root of the ego. Gradually, a sattvic mind, calm and collected, is developed intuitively, and by the grace of God, it yields knowledge of the highest truth. The wild monkey tamed become a Hanuman within us, and then there is no stopping it from gaining further grace, glory, and the infinitely loving gaze of Lord Ram himself. You have got a point. An article by Aditya Divakar Vidya, chief member. लेबल पढ़ रहा है इंडिया. We are what we eat. In an effort to find out exactly what we are consuming. The ingredients level has become a hard and fast rule across countries and corporations. Refined sugar and artificial flavorings have become public enemies. With this, we thought we had food executives by the collar. However, nothing stops commercial greed. Manufacturers now mask them under different names and titles in a pitiful attempts at disguise. Not anymore, however. Here's small list of familiar villains with unfamiliar titles. 1. Vegetable oil, palmate, palmolene, stearic acid, capric acid. This is all palm oil, found in almost half of all packaged food around the world. This slippery pickpocket is in every plastic packet you can think of, from namkeen to instant noodles, from Nutella to pizzas. But half of it is unsaturated fat, meaning it can cut your lifespan down to half as well. Exaggeration kindly excuse. 2. High fructose corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, glucose, sucrose, maltose, lactose. All different names for our familiar enemy sugar. Another common trick that manufacturers use is spreading different kinds of sugar across the ingredient label, so it looks like each one is present only in trace amounts. Not true. Be it maltose, dextrose, or lactose, if it goes in, you are likely to be in trouble. Partially hydrogenated oil, vegetable shortening, soybean oil. Trans fat is what you would call these. French fries, cookies, chips, and popcorns, all bursting with trans fats. There are two kinds of cholesterol, one good HDL and the other bad LDL. Our friend here increases the bad and decreases the good. So before you launch into a fries attack, think about a possible heart attack. Not an exaggeration. A lot of studies show that LDL cholesterol is linked to heart disease. Saccharin, aspartame, sucralose, or sweet and low, Nutra Sweet, Splenda, or E900970. Artificial sweeteners is the term for them. Ever asked yourself how Diet Coke tastes sweet without the one thing that gives sweetness, sugar? Well, here's the answer: not just Diet Coke, but also chewing gums and everything that says sugar free but magically retains its sweetness. What might not be sweet are the links to bad stuff. Butylated hydroxyazole, hydroxyanazole, anisole, BHA, butylated hydroxytoluene, toluene, BHT, E320, E321. a rather unhelpful pair of twins that are added to foods to extend their shelf life while not disguised under any other name. The scientific terminology is enough to turn them invisible to most of us. But in this case, invisible also means injurious. So injurious, in fact, that the US toxicology program has said it is reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen after studies found it directly responsible for tumors in animals. Tasty but not pretty. 6. Vanillin ethyl maltol diacetyl isoamyl acetate butyric acid amyl acetate, all artificial flavoring added in specific mixes to create flavor profiles. Yes, that's where the Skittles flavors come from. These terms don't just mask what they actually are, but also the number of chemicals used. Artificial flavor profiles are created with not one, not two, but hundreds of synthetic chemical compounds blended into one shining, disastrous package. Strawberry flavoring 350 compounds, vanilla 250, and our favorite coffee 850. E102, E110, E122, E124, E129, E131, E132, E133, E142, E151, E155, E180, tartrazine, indigotane, allura red, sunset yellow, brilliant blue. If your heart skipped a beat just reading those numbers, think about what your stomach must be going through. Welcome to the bright and painful world of artificial dyes, colors linked to intense hyperactivity in children and potentially causing cancer. These colorful mischief makers sent the little ones zooming across every corner of the room. They are like makeup for food zero nutrition or substance just show. And that's a wrap for our not so cleverly disguised ingredients on labels. This list is tiny compared to the vast injustices that have snuck onto our plates and into our mouths. So keep searching for more. Remember, truth alone triumphs, especially when quality khana is at stake. Read daily, live fully with Paramapuja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya. Why insist on Brahmacharya, self-control? Brahmacharya is not only the control of sexual impulses but is also the practice of self-control in all avenues of sense impulses and sense satisfactions. unless the seeker has built up a perfect cage of intelligent self control. The entire world of objects will flood his bosom to bring therein a state of unending chaos. A mind thus agitated by the inflow of sense stimuli is a mind that is completely dissipated and ruined. The physical body longs for contact with the world of objects for sense gratification. When we continue to live only for the gratification of our sensual demands, passions multiply and ultimately consume us. To avoid such a condition, discipline at the physical level, brahmacharya, is prescribed. Brahmacharya is an attitude of intelligent contact with the world. It does not mean a total denial of sense enjoyment, but only insists on not overdoing anything. Thus, to read, watch telephone, talk, or walk too much, or to eat a morsel more than is necessary would be considered as breaking the vow of brahmacharya. When we live in self control, we discover in ourselves a renewed dynamism and become pillars of strength in society. If this sacred doctrine is not followed, we abdicate our own freedom and become slaves to the ever changing circumstances of life. Also, brahmacharya is a term that can be dissolved in Sanskrit to mean wandering in Brahmavichar, to engage our mind in the contemplation of the self. The supreme reality is the saving factor that can really help us in withdrawing the mind from external objects. The human mind must have one field or another to engage itself in. Unless it is given some inner field to meditate upon, it will not be in a position to retire from its extrovert preoccupations. This is the secret behind all success in total celibacy. A serious seeker should not allow his attention to be dissipated into channels of worldly affairs and passions. Real Vedanta by Akanksha Dave. The Bengal Files. If Kashmir Files hurt you, the Bengal File will haunt you. Vivek Agnihotri's The Bengal Files tears open pages of history that generations were told to keep shut. It tells the story of Bengal's 1946 genocide during Direct Action Day and the Noakhali riots, where 2 million Hindus were massacred and then forgotten. Direct Action Day, 16 August 1946, was the day the All India Muslim League decided to take direct action using general strikes and economic shutdown to demand a separate Muslim homeland after the British exit from India, also known as the 1946 Calcutta riots and Great Calcutta Killings. It soon became a day of communal violence in the then Calcutta presidency. This time, Shiva Pandit, who we remember for the Kashmir files, returns as a hard-hitting IPS officer working with the CBI, guiding us through the investigation that uncovers Bengal's worried truth, historical and current. From its very first frame, the film grips you and refuses to let go. Cinematographer Attar Singh Sainik uses a stark, almost sepia toned palette with red as the dominant accent, symbolizing the blood that soaked Bengal's soil. The visual language is haunting, as though history itself is bleeding through the screen. The sets transport you back to 1946 Bengal, narrow, smoke filled alleys, burnt out homes, and lifeless bodies left to rot while vultures feed. Every frame feels lived in, immersive, and impossible to look away from. The sound design is equally masterful. At moments of greatest horror, there is no music at all, only silence, forcing you to sit with the weight of what you are witnessing. Several scenes refuse to leave you even after the credits roll. One of the most powerful is Gopal Patha's confrontation with M.K. Gandhi. Gandhi orders Hindus to lay down their already limited weapons. Patha questions how Hindu women can defend themselves from the atrocities unleashed by the Muslim League's call for direct action day if they surrender their arms. Gandhi's reply is devastating. If even a single hair of a woman is touched, she should commit suicide by biting her tongue or holding her breath. That is true courage. Gopal Patha's refusal becomes a defining moment, a turning point not just for the film but for the audience. You can feel the weight of his decision, a silent scream that declares, "We will not die quietly." Another unforgettable moment is between Amar, one of the film's leads, and Bharati Banerjee, the protagonist. Exhausted by the bloodshed, Amar suggests, "Let us finish this war. It's just a piece of land. Let us give it to Pakistan. It's not worth all the bloodshed." Bharati's reply is fires and gives you goosebumps. You will give Bengal to Pakistan. Then will you give away Bengali language, music, and food too? If you kill Bengal, Bharat won't be Bharat. It's not a piece of land. Bengal is the lighthouse of Bharat. Bharat is the emotional core of the film. Bharati is the emotional core of the film. A voice for an entire generation of Hindu women who were stripped, violated, and erased from history. She is not just a character but the living embodiment of memory and resistance. The Bengal Files does not stop at evoking sympathy. It forces introspection. It reminds us that history, if left untold, will repeat itself. It is a haunting continuation of the suffering faced by Bengali Hindus in places like Murshidabad, where fear and persecution still linger generations later. This is not a film that lets you hide behind. Let us not open old wounds. It is a stark reminder that these wounds were never healed. The film highlights the cost of selective memory. The genocide of millions of Hindus was met with silence, erased and dismissed as an unfortunate riot. This is why the Bengal Files matters. It makes you uncomfortable, and that discomfort is necessary. It forces Hindus, especially the youth, to ask, what do we actually know about our own history? Why do we remain blind to our own pain? Watching this film is not passive entertainment, it is an obligation. It is a way of giving voice to those who were slaughtered, to those who were silenced, to those who were told their suffering was just collateral damage. If we forget them again, we fail them again. Moving on without remembering is not peace, it is betrayal. Watch the Bengal files, talk about it, write about it, pass it down to the next generation. So they will never again have to say, we didn't know. Education for a Nation. DM for Life by Trishna Vilrajani. Swami Vivekananda, 1863 to 1902, wrote several letters during his time which offer a glimpse into his brilliant personality. This fearless disciple of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a spiritual master, a popular philosopher, and a dynamic patriot saint of modern India. He introduced Bharatiya philosophy to the West at the 1893 Chicago Parliament of Religions, emphasizing the need for strength of character. Loved and respected for awakening India's spiritual pride and national consciousness, Swami Vivekananda combined deep Vedantic wisdom with practical service, urging the upliftment of the poor through education and compassion. His inspiring speeches and letters and his vision of unity and self reliance continue to guide generations. This month we have selected excerpts from a letter written by this great hero of Bharat to Sri Haridas Viharidas Desai, whom he fondly addressed as Diwanji Sahib. The recipient was a progressive and reform centered minister of Junagadh state in Gujarat, also a great supporter and admirer of Swami Vivekananda and his work. The letter was written on 20th June 1894 from Chicago. Yes, that's 130 years ago. But each and every word is apt even today. In this letter, Swami Vivekananda emphasizes the need for a solid, value oriented education system that empowers Bharat's future leaders. The latter is a clarion call for man making, grassroots empowerment, and national revival for all strata of society. Have you managed that as a nation? Swami Vivekananda ji writes, educate and raise the masses, and thus alone is nation a nation is possible. They are to be given back their lost individuality. They are to be educated. If the poor cannot come to education, education must reach them at a plough, in the factory, everywhere. The whole difference between the West and the East is in this. Education here is general, it penetrates the masses. The higher classes in India and America are the same, but the distance is infinite between the lower classes of the two countries. Why was it so easy for the English to conquer India? It was because they are a nation we are not. When one of our great men dies, we must sit for centuries to have another. They can produce them as fast as they die. When our Divanji Sahib will pass away, which the Lord may delay long for the good of my country, the nation will see the difficulty at once of filling his place. It is the death of great ones. Why so? Because the number of educated men and women in those nations is so great. Now, do not mistake me, my kind friend. This is the great defect in our nation and must be removed. Interestingly, parallels are often drawn between the vision of Swami Vivekananda and Swami Chinmayananda, our inspiration at Chinmaya Udghosh CU. Both were passionate about the nation, its education, its value system, and its spiritual culture. During his lifetime, Swami Chinmayananda established educational institutions across the country with contemporary education rooted in holistic values. The work has continued well beyond his years, with a robust education cell in place to manage its 100 plus schools and colleges, including the top ranking Chinmay International Residential School, as well as the creation of the Chinmay Vishwa Vidyapeeth University since 2017, where bachelor's and master's degrees are taught via Indian knowledge system. Now the West looks towards Bharat as a nation that sets an example of what holistic education truly is. And this trend will only expand and grow in the years to come if it continues to be a national priority. In this, we all have a part to play, and we would do well to reflect on what that part is. Ram, the man of Treta Yuga, a Chinmaya Udghosh publication. The first meeting of Ram and Hanuman. हनुमत सेवित निज पद राम. Ram, at whose feet Hanuman offered his services. Sri Ram and Lakshman set out in search of the Rishyamukh mountain, looking for Sugriv, living in constant fear of being attacked by his brother Vali. Sugriv spent hours watching the distant horizon for any approaching armies. Sugriv caught sight of the two princes whose glorious form evoked distressing dread in the Vanar chief. He paced up and down, his anxious face turning to all quarters, fearing that he was about to be attacked. He gathered his army of monkeys and headed to the peak of the Rishyamukh mountain. The monkeys grew restless amidst all the chaos, but Hanuman, the son of the wind god, reasoned with Sugriv that they were safe since a curse forbade Vali from stepping on Rishyamukh mountain. Sugriv then sent Hanuman, who had perfected the art of communication, to ascertain the purpose and intent of the two men. Assuming the form of a recluse, Hanuman approached the brothers with great respect and offering obeisance said, O great ascetics, Rishyamukh mountain shines with your divine presence, possessing immeasurable strength in your limbs and the valor of a lion in your heart. You are surely celestial warriors who can protect the entire earth. Even in this attire of ascetics, your royalty is not veiled. I wonder what it must be that has made you give up the comforts of the palace and come wandering on these precarious paths. At the peak of this mountain resides Sugriv, a valiant king of the monkeys, who has been banished by his brother Vali. I am Hanuman, son of the wind god, and have been sent here by Sugriv as an envoy for peace and friendship. With cogent speech so eloquently presented, Sri Ram immediately recognized Hanuman as one who has mastered his mind and is well versed in the holy Vedas. After inquiring about Hanuman, the Lord informs him that he is looking for Sugriv to forge an alliance. Hanuman listens to Lakshman's narration of Sita's abduction and concludes that the princes are not a threat to Sugriv, agreeing to take them to the king. In this story, Vali represents the fruit of our actions that constantly torment us. The only respite comes when we are in the company of holy people, where the mind is automatically elevated by a sublime plane of peace and joy, symbolized here by the Rishyamukh mountain. The Indian craft hunt, Jhed for Zari, a journey through threads of gold. I still remember my mother carefully folding away the borders of her old Kanjivaram sarees, whispering tales of the real gold woven into their zari. Years after, years later, as I delved deeper into the world of textiles, I realized the depth of her reverence. The zari she cherished was not merely decorative, they were indeed threads of gold. The origins of zari can be traced back to the Vedic periods, where it was referred to as hiranya or cloth of gold. In ancient texts like the Rig Veda, the luxurious fabric was considered divine after associated with deities and worn by royalty. As time progressed, the art of zari weaving flourished, especially during the Mughal era, when intricate designs and patterns became synonymous with opulence. Banaras, now Varanasi, emerged as a significant hub for zari weaving, producing the renowned Banarasi saris, known for their rich brocades and intricate motifs. Similarly, Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu became famous for its Kanjivaram saris, characterized by their vibrant colors and contrasting borders adorned with real gold and silver threads. Traditionally, pure zari was crafted by flattening gold or silver into fine strips and wrapping them around silk threads. This meticulous process resulted in threads that shimmered with a subtle, elegant glow. However, with rising costs of precious metals and the demand for more affordable alternatives, imitation zari began to surface. Today, there are primarily three types of zari. Know them. One, pure zari made from real gold or silver. This type is heavy, durable, and has a distinct subdued shine. Tested zari, also known as half fine zari. It uses a copper base coated with a thin layer of silver and gold. While it mimics the appearance of pure zari, it lacks the same durability and luster. 2. Imitation zari, crafted from synthetic materials like polyester and plastic. This variant is lightweight and has a brighter, more metallic shine. However, it tends to tarnish quickly and lacks the finesse of its authentic counterparts. With the market flooded with various types of zari, distinguishing between genuine and imitation can be challenging. Here are some methods to help identify authentic zari. Way taste, pure zari is heavier due to the use of real metals. If the fabric feels unusually light, it might be imitation. Visual inspection, authentic zari has a soft, warm glow, whereas imitation zari often appears overly bright or metallic. Thread core test, By carefully cutting a small piece of the zari thread, you can inspect its core. Pure zari typically has a silk or cotton core, while imitation versions use synthetic materials. Kasauti stone test. A traditional method involves rubbing the zari on a kasauti stone. Real silver zari leaves a white residue, while copper based imitation zari leaves a copper colored mark. Burn test. When burnt, pure zari leaves behind ash and a metallic residue, whereas synthetic zari melts and emits a plastic smell. Understanding the nuances of zari not only helps in making informed purchases but also deepens our appreciation for this intricate craft. By supporting artisans who continue to uphold traditional methods, we ensure that the golden threads of our heritage remain unbroken. Authentic zari is not just about visual appeal, it's about legacy. Unlike imitation threads that fade, break, or tarnish over time, pure zari endures. A sari woven with real zari can last generations, becoming a family heirloom, heirloom passed from mother to daughter. The richness depends not just in texture but in sentiment. Sentiment. The next time you shop for a handcrafted textile, aim to invest in at least one piece that uses authentic zari. It may cost more, but what you are buying isn't just a sari or a dupatta. You are investing in heritage artistry, supporting centuries old craft traditions, and preserving a piece of India's cultural fabric. In a world of fast fashion and machine made sparkles, there's something profoundly grounding about owning something so deeply rooted in handwork, patience, and authenticity. That single piece of real zari will gleam a little brighter because it carries a story worth keeping. After all, a handcrafted sari is an investment opportunity. 19 cents. What's up, my Pankaj Lohia? Artificial consciousness. Can machines be self aware? Artificial consciousness or machine consciousness is the emerging field of creating systems that don't just process information but may actually experience it. Unlike traditional artificial intelligence, which focuses on solving problems or predicting outcomes, artificial consciousness explores whether machines can achieve awareness, self reflection, and subjective experiences, the exact qualities that make us human. At its core, artificial consciousness combines neuroscience, philosophy, and advanced AI research. Humans perceive consciousness through a blend of sensory inputs, memory, self awareness, and emotions, creating a continuous sense of being. Researchers aim to replicate this by designing machines that can integrate perception, memory, and decision making into a unified model of awareness. The potential implications are profound. Consciousness machines could transform healthcare, education, and creative industries by understanding human emotions and context more deeply than current artificial intelligence system. However, they also raise pressing ethical questions. If a machine is truly conscious, does it deserve rights? Could it experience suffering? Despite rapid progress in artificial intelligence, artificial consciousness remains largely theoretical. Current systems, no matter how advanced, lack true awareness. They analyze data but do not feel. Achieving genuine consciousness may require breakthroughs in understanding the very nature of subjective experience. Sometimes humanity itself has yet to fully grasp. As exploration continues, artificial consciousness challenges us to rethink what it means to be aware, alive, and intelligent. शङ्कर उवाच प्रश्न माता च का उत्तरधेनुः Question: Who is the mother of all? Answer: the cow. Wise nuggets. दूरस्थोऽपि न दूरस्थो यो यस्य मनसि स्थितः यो यस्य हृदये नास्ति समीपस्थोऽपि दूर दूरस्थः. He who is in one's heart is not far away, despite being at a distance. He who is not in one's heart is very far away, despite being physically close. Rani Gaidi Gaidin Liu 1911 to 1993 was a Naga spiritual and political leader who fought against British rule and the forced religious conversion of her tribe. She led guerrilla warfare and was imprisoned for life. Gaiden Liu joined the Heraka religious movement led by her cousin Haipo Yu Jadonang at the age of 13. The movement aimed to revive the Naga tribal religion and establish self-rule, challenging British policies and the spread of Christianity. Within the Heraka faith, she was considered as incarnation of the goddess Chera Chamdi Nilu. Chera Chamdi Liu. Poster. Those who have inspired the world did not do so by demanding from it but by giving to it. Paramahansa Gurudeva Swami Chinmaya. Figure it out by Disha Daswani, names of Lord Indra. Every month, this is the Indra. Devendra, Mahendra, Surendra, Purandar, Vasava, Shakra, Maghavan, Meghavahana, Swargapati, Vajri, Vidojasa, Vidojasa. India First by Sai Teja, Gen Z protests, organic or orchestrated. In September 2025, Nepal witnessed massive Jain Z protests sparked by government ban on 26 social media platforms, anger over censorship, corruption, nepotism, and unemployment fueled nationwide demonstrations. Clashes escalated as protesters stormed state buildings. Security forces responded with force, leaving 19 dead and more than 100 injured. The future of a nation is charted by the actions of the youth in the present. If a country fails to tap into the potential of its young population to build social and economic institutions that advance the growth of the nation, it creates socio-economic fault lines that provides space for external factors to manipulate the masses and trigger instability. Nepal, which witnessed more than 25 governments in 30 years, has been among the most unstable democracies in the world since 1990. Political instability has paved the way for economic crisis and forced youngsters to leave the country in search of employment. In 2022-23, youth unemployment in Nepal was 22.7% compared to just 7.3% in the mid 1990s. To ensure a peaceful and prosperous future, political stability, economic progress, and social cohesion are vital. Youngsters play a prominent role in keeping all these factors intact. The spirit of progress is the youth in the youth should be backed by governments through policies that incentivize them to unearth their potential. If governments fail, they risk the same fate as Nepal's administration. This pattern was distinctly observed in South Asia in the last 3 years. In 2022, Pakistan's Imran Khan government failed after a no confidence motion, citing economic mismanagement and foreign policy blunders, aided by defectors from his party. In 2023, Sri Lanka's youth led protests against economic collapse forced President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee and resign. In 2024, Bangladesh saw student protests over job quotas escalate until Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigned and left the country. Beyond economics, what is common in these three cases is that just before instability, their governments were distancing themselves from the influence of certain Western powers. This pattern raises a concerning doubt whether these protests are organic or orchestrated. No matter what the answer is, these problems could have been effectively settled through electoral resolve and effective policy making. When India went through a similar crisis in the late 1980s, it did not witness such massive protests. Instead, the Indian government came up with an effective policy to liberalize, privatize, and globalize the economy. This revived the Indian economy and bolstered the living conditions of the people. As India today charts its course under similar global pressures, it has shown resilience. Shown resilience. India is now the world's fifth largest economy, growing at around 6.5% annually. It attracted $71 billion in FDI in 2023, showing strong investor confidence with over 850 million internet users and digital platforms like UPI recording over 100 million transactions annually. India has built one of the strongest digital economies, most importantly, with 65% of its population under 35 years of age. India has the youth power to shape its future while maintaining democratic stability. Indian tradition has long understood the value of youth. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, a youngster Yuva is described as Yuva Syat, in the prime of youth, full of vigor and vitality. Sadhu Yuva, disciplined, well trained, cultured. Yes, that's firmly established in strength, balishtaha, learning and character, and swastha, healthy in body and mind. The Upanishad says such a youth possessing the entire earth filled with wealth represents one unit of human happiness. India needs more such youngsters who will use their potential to construct the future of this nation, not destroy the present. Governments can defend against external present. Governments can defend against external pressures But citizens must remain committed to building strong institutions and driving nation building. In doing so, India stands first. Mindful Whispers by K.S. Yashaswini. Personal has become performative. Recently, I have been seeing a lot of youth coming to temples, while many of us in our 30s and 40s grew up in a time where the media and institutions made us believe that going to a temple or being religious is uncool. It has been a refreshing change with those in their teens and 20s now. I see more and more youngsters dress up for festivals with great joy and vigor, participate in the chorus at home, cook prasad, and visit temples more frequently than the previous generations. And that is precisely my cause of concern too. I see more of them. I am not sure if I feel more of it. Outside Kapalishwar temple in Chennai, boys dressed in shorts and vesti, adjusting the holy ash on their foreheads, posed confidently in front of the towering entrance, unmindful of the oncoming traffic and the evident glare of other devotees. In Nashik, at the Trambakeshwara Jyotirlinga, a family was obsessed with snapping away photos and posing for reels before a security guard pointed out that they were blocking the queue for others. In Prayagraj at the Kumbh Mela, I was shocked at how many wanted to have photos of themselves bathing and dipping in the holy Sangam without sparing a thought for the many semi naked devotees behind them whose privacy was not getting exposed, was also getting exposed. But this is not about religion and religious spaces alone. To recount a conversation I overheard at a bookstore recently, a group of teenagers were deciding which shelf and which book to use as a prop for their social media posts. One even suggested her friend hold the book only as a prop but stare broodingly at the floor because that fit the mood. I am sure it appeals to the aesthetics of the gram, but does it work for the mind? I am a millennial, but I felt like a boomer. Wait, boomers are no better. At a classical music concert, a lady and her husband were 2 minutes short of recording the whole concert through photos and videos and sharing it on their WhatsApp group. We had to hiss and nudge for them to put their phones away. At a recent movie release, I saw more men and women in their 40s and 50s wearing the hero's insignia as t shirts, scarves, and amulets than I saw youth wearing such things. They had more photos to be clicked with the movie poster than an average actor appearing on the red carpet on an awards night. Is there anything personal anymore? Is it all a performance? Influencers have gone on to show their entire bathing routines. Celebrity couples have cameras in their bedrooms to capture their love from the moment they open the morning blinds to how they go about their chores to winding up their day and getting back to bed. I have been appalled by more than appealed to. Our scriptures constantly encourage us to practice solitude. It allows us the opportunity to reflect, redirect, and grow from within. We need a silent space away from the glare of the world to connect with ourselves. Here we are, shamelessly making public whatever one was once personal. Is there any sanctity attached to silent rituals like praying, reading, cooking, and gardening if they are not recorded and posted? As I wonder what the middle ground is on this, let me know how you resist social media from invading your personal life. Check News by Neena Bhattacharya. Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra 20XX The Great Plains. From 3rd to 10th August 2025. 21 young adults from across the US and Canada embarked on a week-long yatra through the Great Plains to explore and evolve, traveling in RVs through 6 US states: Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. Yatris explored what it meant to feel and flow with one's great purpose. This Chinmaya Inspiration Yatra CIY, guided by Shri Vivek Gupta and Shri Suman Rajupet, marks the 20th Yatra organized by Chinmaya Mission Niagara. Each yatra represents a sacred unfolding of the essence of oneness and a journey inward. And Chinmay Inspiration Yatra 20XX was no different. Each morning commenced with Vedic contemplation with Vivekji, as well as daily discourse on Rishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, interspersed with intentional hikes, athletics, and many hours on the road. Sumanji facilitated meaningful dialogues and discussion among yatris. Some highlights included hiking to over 10,000 feet in elevation in Rocky Mountain National Park, guided visualization in a field of sunflowers in Nebraska, experiencing a drive in movie theater in Kansas, and many nightly satsangs around the campfire. As one yatri from Canada shared, I learned the importance of accountability and adaptability. I reflected on my shift in perspective for needs versus wants and understanding that expectations of the future should not exist to be truly present. Yatris were encouraged to embrace each moment, diving deeply into each conversation as an opportunity for self development. And as they return to their universities and professional lives, the yatra continues within each of them. Readers write, social media, Ajutika Sera. Insecurities, face them with humor and wisdom. Do you like pizza? Well, insecurities are as common as liking pizza. How many of us fear public humiliation? Fear of failing, fear we are not enough. The good news is you are not alone. Whether it's about looks, grades, or social status, insecurities creep in like uninvited guests at a party. Let us dive into what insecurity is, why it is normal, and how to tackle it with practical tips, quotes, and a sprinkle of memes. What is insecurity anyway? Insecurity is that nagging feeling of not being enough. Social media doesn't help. Seeing everyone's highlight reels while you have nothing cool to post does not help. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And hey, memes get it. I remember reading one which said, when you are about to post a selfie, but remember you don't look like yourself in real life. Why it is normal? Blame evolution. Our ancestors needed to fit into the group to survive, so feeling like an outsider felt life threatening. Now it's about validation, not survival, but our brains haven't caught up. Understanding this can help us chill a bit. The real question is, do you want to deal with it from a position of strength? If the answer is yes, read on. If you can just turn, or you can just turn the page. 1. Flip the script. When self doubt kicks in, ask, would I talk to a friend like this? Probably not. Replace harsh thoughts with kinder ones. Try, I am growing, and it's okay not to be perfect. I am imperfectly perfect. To limit the scroll. I know it is not possible or easy, but we all know social media can fuel insecurities. Take breaks or unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Instead, follow inspiring creators who remind you of your worth, your infinite potential. 3. Celebrate small wins instead of focusing on what's wrong. Highlight what's right. Did you ace a quiz? Nail that cat eye. Make a perfectly round dosa. Acknowledge it. Don't wait for big moments. Celebrate the small joys as well. 4. Talk about it. Find your safe people, friends, mentors, or family. Opening up lightens the load and reminds us that everyone has insecurities. Words to live by. Happiness is a state of mind that has nothing to do with the external world. A final parting meme because laughter helps. Me, me. I am so awkward. Also, me, overthinking is for the next 48 hours. Insecurities are like clouds, temporary and ever changing. With the right mindset and tools, you can let your inner sunshine break through. Ramayana Reboot by S. Arvind Raghavan. Leadership 3. Having understood Ravan as an example of a bad leader, it makes sense to learn inspirational leadership from Ram, opined VR. Oh, this indeed should be an interesting contrast. While I know Ram's overall character and how he was an inspiration to everyone, I am curious to hear what aspects specific to leadership are going to be emphasized by you, quipped Manava. While Ram's leadership skills shine through the entire Ramayana, it is interesting to see that in the Balkand, Ram first showed how to be a follower. His implicit obedience and steadfast service to Rishi Vishwamitra demonstrated the skills essential for a leader. A leader should be curious and polite. He should also be a good listener. Ram was an independent thinker who did not hesitate to question Rishi Vishwamitra on the morality of killing Tataka, where when the Rishi introduced him to do so, and yet he was flexible enough to accept the Rishi's point of view when being offered a logical explanation. In the Ayodhya Kanda, when the boons of Kaikeyi threw the entire city of Ayodhya out of balance, Rama's calmness provided clarity and direction to lead his family and his citizens on the best path forward. Queen Kaushalya, King Dasharath, brother Lakshman, and wife Sita, all of them depended on Ram's leadership to guide them on the path through the crisis without compromising their dharma. In his long debate with Bharata, Ram again demonstrated how steadfast he was on the path of dharma and inspired everyone to uncompromisingly follow their own dharma. Ram showed sensitivity to the views of others but was never completely influenced by anyone. Ram also advises Bharat on many points of leadership in the Kashchit Sarga of the Ayodhya Kanda. These are all very interesting points, VR. I have never thought about these events of Ramayana from a leadership perspective, quipped Manav. Absolutely, Manav. In fact, as Ram encountered innumerable challenges in the forest, every crisis gave Ram ample opportunity to showcase his leadership skills. We are responded. To be continued. Let us go, let go. An article by Rohini Manohar. Bay, a journey of salt, sweet, and stillness. Life often feels like a tornado between deadlines, relationships, responsibilities, and the endless scroll of expectations. I was still teaching yoga, still showing up for classes, and had just become a mom. But deep down, I wondered if I had the strength to hold space for a retreat again. You see, retreats demand all your time and attention. I wondered, could I slow down enough, breathe deeper enough when I felt stretched thin in so many directions already? That doubt sat quietly inside me until June 2024. World Yoga Day was approaching, and I knew I had to offer something. A colleague suggested me we host a retreat at Mangrove Bay. Immediately, my eyes lit up. I had been there before. I knew its quiet forests, the waters winding through the mangroves, the way time slows down here, there. Something about that familiarity felt safe, like the place itself could hold me while I tried to find my ground again. So I said yes, but I didn't go alone. You see, along with my mat, my 8 months old daughter also joined the tree. Honestly, I didn't know how it would work. 25 people had signed up, and here I was arriving with a little human who had never slept outside home, never felt water beyond her tiny bathtub. But something in me whispered, life won't wait for perfect conditions, we just have to begin. We reached Mangrove Bay at sunset. I settled the group into their rooms and led them to the river for a sunset flow. As the mats were unrolled, I placed my daughter beside me. At first, I was nervous she might disrupt things, but slowly I realized she wasn't outside the retreat at all. She was an essential part of it. Her laughter, her quiet curiosity softened the space, made it more real, more fun, and might I dare say, more cute. It reminded me that yoga isn't about escaping life, it's about practicing right in the middle of all life's madness. That night, we slept in a tent for the first time. The thin canvas let in the sounds of the universe around, the hum of crickets, the rustle of wind, the water moving gently at the edges of the bay. I wondered if she would cry. She didn't. She slept soundly, as though her tiny body already trusted that nature could hold her even better than I could. The next morning, as the group practiced, she played with twigs and leaves, completely absorbed. Watching her, I understood something. Yoga doesn't ask us to split our lives into neat compartments. It asks us to be fully present in the chaos, in the joy, in the unknown. Later, we went kayaking, paddling through winding waterways, surrounded by roots that rose like sculptures and water that mirrored the sky. It was the quietest I had been in a long time. I was always running from activity to activity, and suddenly, in the quiet of the mangroves, I finally learned to slow down, breathe, and lean into the chaos and madness of motherhood and teaching. I didn't have to pretend to be perfect. I just had to do my best in that moment. In the process, sometimes I might look like a gnarled mangrove root, and sometimes like the perfect blue sky. That evening, under the stars, I thought about how often we split ourselves into roles: student, teacher, friend, parent, dreamer. We wonder if we are enough in any of them. But here, by the way, those lines dissolved. I didn't have to choose. I was all of it at once. Maybe that's what yoga really means: union, not just of body and breath, but of the many selves we carry within. When we left Mangrove Bay, it didn't feel like coming back from a trip. It felt like the bay had entered us with its salt and stillness, its tides and quiet teachings. It left a trace I will always carry. My daughter won't remember it. She was too young, but I will. And one day I will tell her how, before she could even walk, she floated in ancient waters and taught me, and maybe all of us, the meaning of surrender. Destiny by Rukma Sadekar. Aries, March 21 to April 19. It's easy to hold people and circumstances responsible for our troubles. Yet, if we think deeply and are honest to oneself, we will realize we have only ourselves to blame. In her song, To Have and Not to Hold, Madonna says, like a moth to a flame, only I am to blame. The title of the song itself is one to ponder over. Taurus, April 20 to May 20. Rabindranath Tagore's popular song Ekala Chalo Re was made even more popular by the movie Sardar. If you haven't heard the song or understood the lyrics, it's high time you did. It says, जोड़ी तोर डाक सुने कि वो ना आशे तोबे एकला चलो रे. If they answer not to your call, walk alone. Get the point. Gemini, May 21 to June 21. Do you have a dream, a song to sing, to help you cope with anything? The Abba group hit the spot when it sang, I have a dream, a fantasy, to help me through a reality, and my destination makes it worth the while, pushing through the darkness Still another mile. Stop weeping, start dreaming. Cancer, June 22 to July 22. टूटा टूटा एक परिंदा, ऐसे टूटा कि फिर जुड़ न पाया। गिरता हुआ वो आसमां से आकर गिरा जमीन पर। ख्वाबों में फिर भी बादल है, बादल ही थे। Is the perfect pick me up song when the going gets tough and moving on seems impossible. No matter what, don't lose sight of your goal. Leo, July 23 to August 22. Sometimes what literature can't get through to us, a simple song can. And that's what Bobby McFerrin's song did in the 80s. It got everyone humming. Don't worry, be happy. In every life, we have some trouble, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Notice the last three words. Be happy now. Virgo, August 23 to September 22. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Sings Louis Armstrong. Adopt that song as your mantra for living and do what it says. Look around and appreciate, be grateful, and you will find yourself in a better world. Libra, September 23 to October 23. Why waste time worrying and fretting over what others think? We have no idea what tomorrow holds for us. Pick a cue from the song जिंदगी एक सफ़र है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना। हंसते गाते जहाँ से गुजर, दुनिया की तू परवाह न कर। मुस्कुराते हुए दिन बिताना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जानना। स्माइल अभी। Scorpio, October 24 to November 21. At some point, we all get knocked down by obstacles and challenges. The important thing is to not stay down. Every time life gives a blow, remind yourself of these lyrics by Chumba Wumba. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. Perfect lines to help you bounce back. Sagittarius, November 22 to December 21. Have you heard the title song of Bhag Milkha Bhag? It's the right song for you now. Our Shanti Mar Raha Samsar. Are Shanti Mar Raha Samsar. The world is hitting you with a stick. Now let there be shouts down, don't be afraid. Your arms are strong like oars, your feet are an outcry. Every vein of yours is an iron wire. You are a fire. Capricorn, December 22 to January 19. Do you have faith in yourself? Do you think you can do it? Whether you think you can or you can't, either way you are right. Take a line home from R. Kelly's song. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. Aquarius, January 20 to February 18. शंकर शैलेंद्र song तू जिंद तू जिंदा है written during India's freedom struggle just might do the trick for you. तू जिंदा है तो जिंदगी की जीत में यकीन कर, अगर कहीं है स्वर्ग तो उतार ला जमीन पर. If you are alive, believe in the victory of life. If there is heaven somewhere, bring it down to earth. Pieces, February 19 to March 20. When I think of you, Piscean, the song that comes to mind is Maria Carey's Hero. There's hero if you look inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. Learn the sound and sing it to yourself. Laugh out loud. Why did the teacher go to the beach to test the waters? What did one pencil say to another? You are looking sharp. Why did the donuts donut go to the dentist? Because it needed a chocolate filling. Why did the librarian remove the clock from the library? It was talking too much. ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. ओम श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय.